I think of it as kind of a three-step process where this is the first step where we submit the new drug application. The next step is something called NDA acceptance, and that typically happens after about 60 days, where the FDA, responds whether the submission is complete.
Hey, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Dr. Seth Lederman. He is the CEO of Tonix Pharmaceuticals. And Dr. Lederman, it's great to have you back again. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me on, Steve.
Yeah, so a couple of things I want to talk to you about. First off, your submission of the new drug application to the US FDA. We've talked about this, the importance of this in the past. So let's update to everyone where you're at with that now.
Yes, well, we just announced that we have submitted the new drug application or the NDA to FDA for our new product in development for fibromyalgia. And we're delighted. I think very few biotech companies get to the point where they have a drug ready for NDA submission. So we are delighted to have reached that point, and we're very excited about next steps in the process.
And as we've talked about in the past, TNX 102SL really is for an unmet need as far as fibromyalgia is concerned. And that's the key to all of this, right, Dr. Lederman?
Yes, well, there are three FDA approved products for fibromyalgia, but based on a variety of the characteristics of our product, the United States Food and Drug Administration granted our product fast track designation. And one of the criteria of fast track is that it potentially addresses an unmet need. So I think that has to do with some of the characteristics of our product, combination of tolerability and the potential activity in fibromyalgia. But we think that fibromyalgia patients right now, many of them are dissatisfied with the existing treatment options, and we certainly hope that we can bring our product to market so that we could be a new therapeutic option.
And just for people not familiar with the regulatory part of all this, what happens next now? What are sort of the next steps?
Well, I think of it as kind of a three-step process where this is the first step where we submit the new drug application. The next step is something called NDA acceptance, and that typically happens after about 60 days, where the FDA, responds whether the submission is complete. And after that, if that's successful, then, and at that time, we will be, if FDA accepts the application, we will learn the date on which they will provide us with a decision on approval. And that date is often called the PDUFA date, and that relates to the Prescription Drug User Fee Act, which means that FDA is supposed to get back to us in a fixed time schedule for their decision on approval. But if the NDA is accepted, we would expect a PDUFA date, a date for a decision on approval in 2025.
Okay. Just want to also ask you really quickly. I know you're imminent. You're going to be getting the first payment with the Defense Threat Reduction Agency in the U.S. Department of Defense that we've talked about in the past. And this is remind everyone what this is for. And again, obviously getting money into the company to start this is a real positive step.
Yes. In addition to our late-stage program for fibromyalgia, we are a fully integrated pharmaceutical company. So we have research that goes all the way back to early stages of discovering drugs. And we were awarded in July a $34 million contract with the United States Department of Defense to develop next-gen antiviral drugs. So we're very excited about this partnership, and we recently announced that the first payment in the contract, was issued by the Department of Defense. So But it's a very exciting program. Both we're excited about it, where to protect the warfighter, we're trying to develop drugs that will provide protection against a number of different viruses and even different viral families. And that will protect the warfighter and also hopefully enhance enhance capabilities, in a battlefield that is, onto which infectious agents have been introduced.
Absolutely. Dr. Letterman, busy time for you. Thank you very much for updating us on all that's going on, and we look forward to our next conversation, okay?
Thank you very much, Steve.
All right, Dr. Seth Letterman, the CEO of Tonix Pharmaceuticals.